is this new text document where I always write down 2 minutes 47.5 seconds. It's around the time of my life.
I really appreciate that. It makes my life a lot easier.
Oh yeah, gotta have it. Alright, it's 49. I will just bring us in a couple seconds.
Hell yeah.
Hey everybody, welcome to the YASEcast, episode 49. This week we got me, myself, and I, Jarv. What's going on, y'all? We also got a couple more people on the mic. We got Velius.
Hi.
And we got Morgan.
I'm gay.
You know, it happens to the best of us.
Really the best of us. It's not even June yet. We're getting started earlier.
And it's the Wrath month coming up?
No, this is Pride. Wrath is July. And also every other month.
Yeah, because, got to be wrathful over all those rainbow icons changing back to whatever they usually are in social media feeds.
I love it. I love when YouTube puts any LGBT content under an immediate age restriction. But then, hey, June came around. You got the rainbow.
Hey, we gave you the rainbow, and we also gave you an age gate. Unless you're a gamer, then you get no rainbows. That YouTube gaming is just like, it's always the same color. It's just always, black and white. And like all the other ones come rainbowy and...
It's, I'm not going to read too far into that.
Yep.
It's all about knowing your...
You just hang out with that one. Sit with that one for a second.
All about knowing your target demographics.
It all feels so scummy.
It is scummy. It should feel scummy.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's to try to flatten out someone's identity to like a color and a helpful message from your favorite Fortune 50 corporation is like, nobody likes this. Everyone disliked that. You
know me. I love the Fortune 500 companies. They're my favorite. And I love it when they tell me that I'm valid, because that's the only time I feel good about myself.
I love drinking rainbow bottled Absolute vodka on a float that is sponsored by Chase Bank.
Oh no, it gets worse. That's
pride.
It can get so much worse. Here in DC, we get the Raytheon float.
No.
We get the Lockheed Martin float. There's a Lockheed Martin float and a Raytheon float. And the one Pride I went to, they were next to each other.
Of course they were. That makes me want to float off of the earth.
It was great. And then Chase Bank was right after them, too.
Yeah, gotta have... Look, the queers love banking. Queer people love banking and putting their money away and...
Because we're infamously so rich. We don't have any problems. Especially trans people. We don't have, any problems with, being able to hold jobs or anything like that.
Absolutely not.
We're just swimming in money all the time.
Look, that dual income, no kids, and you just want to invest and spend money, and I don't know. Everyone is just like a market segment to be, ratcheted up on, squeezed tighter and tighter. What else can we get? What else can we get? It feels not good.
No, it feels miserable to recognize that, you are a commodity. And it's
love a commodity.
Love a commodity. Love commodities. It's great.
I've been reading about a couple of those commodities myself.
Oh! Are you reading theory?
Am I reading theory? Look, so I hope someone at home, they heard about commodities on this podcast about 30 seconds ago, and they were like, "Aha, yes." I hope someone else is in Capital Land with me right now.
I guess I too have read Capital. Aha.
Well, I haven't finished it. Because it's really hard to digest, and I actually haven't read the actual text. I'm listening to college level lectures, university level lectures on it, and reading the illustrated version, which is a nice condensed down version of it. Velius, I appreciate the suggestion on Marx's Illustrated Capital. It's really easy to digest.
I wouldn't.
That's what it's there for.
Yeah.
I wouldn't feel too bad about not finishing Capital because Marx didn't either.
Yeah.
3 volumes, still not finished.
Yeah.
He's got to get back to work.
I was really enamored with the couple sections on like the working day and the fight for how long you're supposed to work in a day, and the amount of like commoditizing your time that employers try to do to try to get as much out of it as they can. Because I feel pretty decent working for like a public school district, but I am in the middle of doing like a time clock rollout project to all these different sites, and I'm like, y'all are trying to steal these people's time. Like it makes me feel bad in a way, but it's hard not to feel bad about like, you know, the material conditions capitalism creates, and what can one person do in a not collective way at one place to really do anything about it. Probably not much, but at least I can learn about it and be like, oh, this is developing my understanding of what this theory is really trying to say by having a little bit of experience with it.
It's in concert with I've been reading and I guess doing a reading series as I guess the kids call it. And the name, I'm blanking on her name now, but the book's How to Do Nothing, Escaping the Attention Economy, and it feels really good to, well, it doesn't feel good to read because it's very visceral in it, and it's a depiction of sort of the point that we have found ourselves in history, particularly around commodification, where like you were talking about like the fight for like the 8-hour workday, like that was the compromise. And especially since, you know, neoliberal reforms and Reaganomics, we basically don't have that anymore. What we have is like this big chunk of 24 hours where everything is a hustle and there's like no sense of security. And we are all, especially now that we're like with the advent of social media, where like everyone is an influencer regardless of whether or not they want to be. Like if you're just tweeting about a product, like you are doing free advertising for someone. And we are all sort of, trapped in this cycle where we are creators and we are commodities and we are consumers all at the same time. So it's been a rough thing to read and has like had me in my mind palace for a bit, but it's actually kind of hopeful. Actually, there's always like a little like page or two at the end where it's like, yeah, you can't actually escape from this system. It's not feasible. And every time historically people have tried to just like walk off into the woods and remake society, it hasn't worked out. But there are still things you can do. And you can log off, you can walk away, you can find ways to reclaim your time that in a way that is not, commodified and not being split up and monetized by a massive corporation. So it's cool. Strong recommend.
That sounds really cool. I'm now thinking a lot about how you consume a social media site like Twitter because you are being served ads and engaging content and things like that. But then all the tweets that you make are content. They are commodities for Twitter to value itself on. To say, hey, look, we have X many tweets. We have X many users. These people have X many followers. That's why they are worth more, we say. Even though, what is the use value of those tweets and content? Well, for Twitter, it's we have content to serve up as ads. We have valuation for IPOs and stock prices and this and that. Whereas, what is the use value for you? You get to like breathe out of your nose kind of hard sometimes when you see something funny.
Gotta do one of those. Yeah, like it's what it is, and I've always loved that the language of exchange value and use value. I think that was like a big light bulb moment for me, particularly reading Capital, where I was like, "Holy shit, Bitcoin is worthless."
Yeah, the big example from this illustrated book is just like, what is the use value of bread? Well, it feeds you, but a capitalist would rather see its exchange value and not its use value. So bread will literally mold on the shelf, but if you're not buying it, then it's worth nothing. And a capitalist would rather throw the bread away than give it away.
Yeah, and then I go like the Bitcoin point. I think it drives me crazy when you think about it that where it's like negative use value. Like, what is this in terms of like use to the world? It's the consumption of a massive amount of electricity to create a thing that has no real value. It doesn't even materially exist. It's a sequence of numbers somewhere.
Exactly. And it's like, as soon as you try to get out, it's sort of worth less, because right now people are just like this like frothy extra financial economy shit that's just kind of like, well, lots of people have some money and or some people have a lot of money and they'd like to try to make more, so let's just keep this valuation thing going. Don't pull out, don't get out of it, because the value's in having it, and as soon as you try to take out of it, it's going to make everyone else's shit go down. So you might as well stay in the game, buy the dip. And I'm just like, I guess I could be making all this money doing this kind of shit, or I could be fucking losing it all. So that's why I don't, because I'm a very risk-averse person.
So am I. And you know what they call a system like that? They call it a pyramid scheme. Because the only people that are really benefiting are the people with this huge value, and considering that the evaluation is just based on the popularity of the thing, the best way to make your Bitcoin that you're holding worth more is to convince other people to buy Bitcoin.
Exactly. I mean, that's why Musk having so much of it through Tesla is like sort of a problem.
Why do you think he's promoting it on his Twitter? Because the more people buy into it, it increases his evaluation. But yeah, welcome to our Marxist Theory podcast, where we have a materialist analysis of cryptocurrency.
Look, I do love a materialist analysis. I need to look up the word dialectics, because I've been hearing a lot about dialectical reasoning, and it never taught me that one in school, is what I'll say.
There's a reason they don't teach you that one in school.
Like, everything is just like such a cause and effect type of relationship in like primary United States school, or just like, this thing is bad and it caused this thing that is also bad. And it's not just like, what are these things related by, and what are the contradictions within, and how does life sort of make those happen regardless of those contradictions, and what can we learn from those things?
It's a very good conversation to have, and it's a very good, I think it's a great piece of knowledge, because as much as people will tell you that, Marx didn't predict the middle class. Yeah, we don't have a middle class anymore.
We sure don't.
Yeah, and I think over time, at least so I first encountered Marx in undergrad, in my critical theory course in my sociology major. And even then, people would say, and this was like around the 2008 financial crash, like, well, Marx isn't always right. And I'm like, since then, I feel like Marx has gotten more right. And like, I've never come across any, between like the two once-in-a-lifetime crashes that I've experienced in my adult life, I've never walked away from one of them being like, maybe that Marx guy wasn't right about some things.
Yeah. The podcast of Capital I've been listening to, which is Reading Marx's Capital with David Harvey, davidharvey.org. This dude's like a well-known Marxist theorist, and also I guess he's also a geographer. He got into like geographical studies, and so he talks a lot about like how geography and populations have changed with empire and this and that. So it's a really good Marxist view of an area that I didn't think would really have a whole lot of Marxist view. I don't know. He's been pretty instrumental for me to like get some of these concepts, even if I don't really get them, to just kind of like have them in the brain and kicking them around. So that's a free one if anyone here who is listening to the podcast is interested in maybe trying to dive into a little bit. There's that podcast. There's probably other podcasts, but I don't know what they are. The book I've been reading is from David Smith. You can find it from Haymarket Books. It's called Marx's Capital Illustrated, an Illustrated Introduction. And shout out to Velius for giving me the hookup on that one. Give me the suggestion.
Heck yeah. That's
big thumbs up from Velius.
Big thumbs up.
The capital respecter has logged on.
Not the capitalist respecter, just capital.
No,
respecter.
just the capital respecter.
It's
respect
I think
the capitalist. I could never.
I want to maybe circle back, and I'm trying to think about the best way to frame this. But one of the things you said there, I think, is really real and maps onto a lot of my even like ongoing experience of I'll approach these ideas and like I don't get them, but I sort of get them, and then they marinate over time. It's like Disco Elysium, where like you equip a thought and you have to like wait an amount of time before you like get the revelation out of it.
That's funny.
Yeah.
I didn't know that about that game. That's really cool.
It's really funny. And there's Disco Elysium is great. So there's things where it's like while you're thinking about it, you might get certain bonuses or penalties. And then when you get like you resolve the thought, then it's like you kind of realize there's like sections where maybe you have to you encounter the idea of feminism, and you can consider feminism and like mull it over in your brain, and then at the end you're like, I've had an insight. Feminism is good, actually. I'm a feminist. And then you get you'll get different options. Like at the end, I got to call a character toward the end of the game a misogynist pig because I'd internalized feminism.
This is a funny sounding game. I mean, I've also heard it's like really great, really amazing, this and that, but like explaining that stuff on its face is like funny. Like I've never seen a game like engage with thoughts and ideas and learning and like ideology in that way. It's just like the slider can go this way for the bad things, or the slider can go this way for the good things. What are you going to pick, Shepard?
There's a shout out to my friend J Money who dropped this in my chat while I was streaming the game. Disco Elysium is the only role-playing game because even in the narrative, you wake up, your character doesn't remember anything. You've come off this massive bender, head empty, no thoughts. And from that position, you really get to play a role in that. You are really building this character really from nothing. You're not even like... Ostensibly, there is a story where you are investigating a murder, but stuff like you can end up becoming a fascist, a libertarian, a communist, a neoliberal. You can end up becoming a cryptozoologist, which I did. It was great. Paid off very well in the end. There's all these different trajectories, and like there's no real fail states in the game. So you can just, no matter what happens or what you do, you can always keep going. So the way that I really realized I was playing something special with Disco Elysium Final Cut was I'm streaming it, and people in my chat that had played the game before were telling me, I didn't see that scene. I had no idea that this could happen. Like, your experience, like, even watching me, they were like, this isn't even a spoiler for anybody because you could play this game and very easily have a wildly different conversation, a wildly different experience, talk to different characters. You know, it's a special game.
It sounds really cool. I gotta get off my ass and buy it. I've been neglecting video games, but
I think
that
that's
seems
correct.
like one I really want to. You know, sometimes I neglect them, but sometimes they have their grips on me. Certain games. We'll get into that later. But yeah, I want to play Disco Elysium. I just gotta find the time and make it happen, and I guess figure out if I want to get it for Switch to see if I can play it in bed, or if I want to just sit down at the computer and play it, all that kind of stuff.
It's a good one.
Console choice is sometimes a big one for me. I'm like, this could be fun in bed, you know, or like sitting on the couch, not in front of the TV, but just chilling with the Switch. But also sometimes Switch ports are just not so good. That's
the eternal struggle. I feel like the Switch is probably the console that I've felt the best about buying in a long time. Because I don't think anything has ever really given me that choice before. Like, there are certain games where I'm like, I'd rather play this on a Switch, like a visual novel or something like that, where I can just kind of take it with me and just like on off play it when I have some downtime versus you know, something like I really want to like sit down with a session.
Yeah, I'm going to boot up my PlayStation 5 and hook it up with an HDMI cable to my TV to play like fucking Famicom
Bug Snacks
Club. Bug Snacks. I heard that game gets fucked up, but I did not play it because I don't have a PlayStation 5.
Neither do I. I speaking of Shepard, I might buy one. My partner is a really big Mass Effect fan.
Yeah.
And so I might scoop that for the Mass Effect remake and then let her play it, but I don't know. I feel like there's like nothing else to really play on it. I guess I could play Strive, but like
play better looking Strive. Or that tag mode or whatever. That's like PS5 exclusive.
Alright. Maybe. I don't know.
Okay, I heard the episode last week. 2 people trying to connect in a fucking match sounds terrible. If you're trying to do some like online tag team match, trying to get 4 motherfuckers in that, hell no.
I did not consider that at all, and you're right. And it's like, if 2 people connecting is bad enough, then why do you want to make that 4?
That sounds pretty rough.
Double the suffering. It's suffering squared.
It's like playing Gundam.
Oh
God.
That's already kind of a lot.
Yeah.
You get one person with like the shoddy Wi-Fi connection, and everyone's like, "Great,
Ruins
all
the
gotta
whole
connect
game.
to you."
And sometimes even with everyone playing on wired, you just get this slowdown that seems to happen for no reason at all.
Feels like one person is experiencing packet loss, so everyone is now slowed.
Yep. So
Love,
all of a
love internet
sudden,
architecture.
you're not moving.
Really got to get some dedicated servers for Mbon. Namco, where are you at with your niche titles in America?
Not giving a shit.
Yeah, probably not. They're like, make sure you buy that fucking Lupus Rex DLC.
I mean,
That's
yeah.
it.
Lupus Rex is sick as hell.
Yeah, like why wouldn't you do that?
I mean, this
No,
is
You're cool if you didn't get them for free.
like
Yeah.
Bandai is the same company that's making like all of their big games into more Dark Souls. Even though
like
they already
Scarlet
own Dark
Nexus
Souls
or whatever.
It's like, you have Scarlet Nexus, then you have Tales of Arise is supposed to be more Souls-like than more Tales-like, which to me is stupid. Like
That's wrong.
they
Don't do that.
Bandai Namco owns Dark Souls, you know, like they publish it for fuck's sakes. So it's like, why are you trying to turn all these games into Dark Souls? You
I
have
know,
Dark Souls.
Isn't Miyazaki like, I'm never gonna make a fucking Dark Souls game again?
No. I mean, like,
that's what we got to 3, and then he was like, all right, I'm good. I'm done with these. I'm making other shit. I'm making Elden Ring. So I figured he was like, the Dark Souls franchise, do not ask me for shit.
I mean, as far as like Dark Souls, like the series is concerned, potentially, but you know, they always could end up just publishing more of his Souls-like works and everything, you know.
Yeah, I would appreciate that. I mean, look, I still haven't beaten Bloodborne because I'm a little baby back bitch, but that game's sick as hell.
It
And
is sick
if
as
they
hell.
wanted to make a Bloodborne 2, I think everyone around the world would like collectively soy face over it and would be like, yes, I'm buying the PlayStation 6 or whatever the fuck this is coming out on. Bloodborne is just a game that like I have never met someone who was like, fuck Bloodborne. That game's well, Vince kind of a little bit, but he's a big hater. Sorry, Vince, I love you. You big fucking hater.
But without,
But, like,
without spoiling, I don't think Bloodborne 2 could realistically ever happen.
Yeah, I've heard things like that, but I mean, it doesn't have to be Bloodborne 2. It could just be like we slightly modified Bloodborne a little bit, and it's like an alternate universe, and we got more crazy, Eldritch shit going on.
I mean, you could do
Or-
that, but you may as well just make a new, different game if you're going to do that and not have it be Bloodborne.
Yeah, but I want to wear the fancy hats.
I mean,
I do like the big
do
hat.
that, but just, you know, what I'm like saying is that you could take the same like core concept and make a new universe, because all of the there's different endings in Bloodborne, but all of them
Yeah.
end up doing like the purpose is the same for all of them, right? So that's why a lot of people say that, you know, you can't have a Bloodborne 2 because just the nature and the story of the game makes it just like literally impossible for there to actually be like a Bloodborne 2. But you can take the same concept and do something else with it, and that way you can do something new with it, and everyone can still look like you're at a Versace show, you know.
That
I'm
sounds
picking
good
up
to
what
me.
you're putting down.
Yeah.
Yeah, we need the Demon Souls to Dark Souls, but for Bloodborne. Like let Bloodborne be its own thing. It's still amazing. It's still incredible, and then just do something else that's like slightly similar, but with some new mechanics and interesting stuff to go along with it.
I'd be super down. I'd be super down for not Bloodborne. But that's one of the things I've been thinking about a lot lately, actually, is specifically Bloodborne, and how I feel kind of saturated, and like I don't feel a lot of desire to go back to the Souls series. Like at least like the ones that are titled the Souls series, like Demon and Dark Souls 2 and Dark Souls 3. But Bloodborne just kind of lives in my brain as like an experience, the tone of it, the story. Like there's so much stuff in that game. Like I can't imagine, let's say you're sitting around at the chapel and you're helping people out at the boss, and then all of a sudden you get enough insight and you start seeing the Amygdala. Like there's
That game
really
just has like it's got like such a a tonal arc to it where like you start out and you're just like, all right, these country bumpkin looking dudes with the pitchforks and the torches, they're a little rowdy. These guys are kind of fucking me up, but it can't be that bad. And you get to like some crazy dogs, you get to Gascoigne, you get to, you know, big beasts, and you're like, oh, this is getting a little fucked up. And then it just keeps ramping up, especially once you get to like any of the stuff with the academy or like the school. Once you get to anything involving the chalice dungeons and all that kind of stuff, or like once you get past like the dark forest and witch stuff, it's just kind of like, oh, okay, this game is not going to let off the fucking gas.
True.
That's actually one of the things I like about Dark Souls 3 too. Because of the Souls games, I think 3 is the only one that I would like. I know a lot of people started off with Dark Souls 1, so they, you know, got Dark Souls remastered and go and play that. But me personally, 3 is my favorite. And the kind of like the level design of it makes like no sense at all. The variations in terrain and everything just don't make any sense. But with the plot being that the world is literally fractured to the point that nothing, like no rules make sense anymore. Like it has that nice narrative tie-in where it's like the world doesn't have to make sense because the world is literally cracked and falling apart in ways that distort reality. So it's like the cemetery should not be like right next to a snowy mountain with all this stuff. You know, like there's snow everywhere in this section that's like right next to another section, but there's no snow in the other section. It's like, well, fuck it. The world has gone to hell in a handbasket. So the rules are just out the window. It doesn't matter. It just has a little bit more like a unique narrative tie-in, and then of course you get the Berserk influence because the Souls series is always influenced by Berserk.
Oh yeah, rest in peace.
Rest in peace. Yeah. It's that was hard news this week.
Yeah, and I know there's a lot of people in those industries who are just like mad overworked. And it becomes like a bit of a meme, I guess, for like manga and anime nerds in America. Like, oh, this person needs more rest. This person needs more rest. Or, you know, it has some sort of ailment. Oh, get better, I guess. But like, give me my fucking One Piece. Give me my fucking Hunter x Hunter. Give me my fucking Berserk. And it's just like, give yourself some empathy for other people who are being pushed to their fucking limits.
It's, in the case of Berserk, it's interesting because a lot of it, particularly, it was echoed in the tone of the series that he started taking care of himself more, and even as like Guts became cool dad, and it's like he was taking more breaks, taking longer between chapters. But I mean, you bring up Hunter x Hunter, the mangaka of Hunter x Hunter can't sit anymore because his back is fucked up.
Oh my gosh!
Like he gets the reason that goes on hiatus so often is like he can't sit and work anymore. He's been like, physically impaired by damage done to him by how long he's been working and sitting.
Jeez, that's wild.
It gets really dark. It reminds me of a little, like, one of the things you said, like, just in general, how people, and thinking about, connecting all the thoughts here, but how, like, we are consumers of content, and how it's just, like, we get so inured to, like, the idea that, oh, there's just content, keep the content coming. And not that there is a real human cost to the production of those things. And I think a lot about what was coming around the narrative in games press around Naughty Dog and Crunch and CG Project Red and Crunch, where I think it might have been, since this is a Waypoint podcast, fan podcast, I think it was Austin who said it, that's like, oh cool, there's like these great rope physics in The Last of Us. Is my enjoyment of that improved so much that it was worth another human being not seeing his family for a week?
Nope.
Yeah.
Nope.
Like there's no amount of improvement that could be where I'm like, that is worth it. And when I start hearing the stories about, you know, like Kishimoto and all that, Naruto, and the costs that they paid either physically or personally or emotionally to keep up with the production schedules of Weekly Jump, it just makes me feel bad. It changes the way I think about their art.
Yeah. You know, what's that meme that's like, I want shorter video games that cost more, and I'm not kidding.
I want shorter video games that are with worse graphics that are made by people that are paid more, and I'm not kidding. I think is the whole thing. Well,
the full thing does hit a little more actual points, but yeah, that's pretty much how it is. I'd rather play I'd rather play a game where I know the people who made it can put food on the fucking table instead of we did a Kickstarter and we got way more than we thought, but it still isn't enough for all the extra content that we had to put in for the stretch goals, and now we can't even produce the game, and we spent all the money to pay ourselves $5.50 an hour to do this shit, or working out of some big AAA owned development team where you do real good on your project, then you get rewarded with doing Call of Duty next year because the last team fucked it up.
Oh yeah, that's the thing at Activision, right? It was the team that made Crash or something. Yeah,
the Crash 4 team, and they also did Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2. That was a great remake. Congratulations, you get to work on either fucking Call of Duty or doing the Diablo 2 remaster.
Oh yeah, that was the other bit that it was. Yeah, it's those games, I guess, overperformed, and so Activision was instead of being hey, you want to remake Tony Hawk 3? You seem to be good at this. They were
you want to do Thug?
Yeah, Call of Duty, it underperformed last year. We're going to put you on that.
What are they going to do with Call of Duty? What are the Tony Hawk people going to do with fucking Call of Duty? If you're going to put Call of Duty on skateboards, now we're
yeah, you're going to have the mode where everyone's on a skateboard. And you can't turn it off, so you have to control the physics.
That would be kind of sick.
Play that game.
That would actually be kind of sick.
The only way to get a kill is by kickflipping off their head.
I love it now. I want it.
Yeah, I'll play this game. Give me kill streaks. Give me the whole business.
There's kind of a related bit to the idea content and production and conditions. There was a clip that dropped from a popular VTuber in Hololive that's been also living in my brain lately, where she announces she has to take a longer hiatus, but talks about how the thought of playing her favorite games now makes her sick, that she doesn't sleep well anymore, that she's having nightmares every night, and has to extend her hiatus. And I was looking at this clip because I'm this is wild to me. I usually don't watch this kind of stuff, but this one caught me off guard, and it's really, really changed the way I think about the entire sphere of media around particularly content creation and especially around VTubers, because it's not the first time that kind of video has even popped up. And when you really think about it and you try to, some of the things that the community takes are that are funny, to me I realize are probably more endemic of the conditions that are required to keep up with these production schedules and meet fan demands. The first time someone overslept their stream, it was funny. The second and third time, it was oh, there's something going on.
Yeah.
And
it's not a gimmick.
Yeah, or the first time someone fell asleep on stream because they were so exhausted. It was ah ha ha. And actually, no, that wasn't even ah ha ha. That was that's fucked up. And why is this a joke? That this person is so overworked that they fell asleep in the middle of their job in front of 20,000 people.
Meanwhile, those 20,000 people are resident sleeper, resident sleeper, resident sleeper,
yeah,
resident sleeper.
It's a very weird thing where we get the buffer, I think, particularly around this brand of media where you have a character kind of inures people so that there's a person behind that. Mm-hmm. And now whenever I see, there's this big push in Hololive to have anime and games using these characters, and they call Hololive Alternative, but I look at the trailer for that and I see that particular person's character. And all I can hear is her voice in tears talking about how she doesn't know how she can continue doing this. And it's just kind of... It's really changed my thoughts, but at the same time it feels like that area and that sphere of fans and whatnot is kind of business as usual.
Yeah. They're going to say business as usual, but you're sort of waking up to the material reality for those producers, those content creators, and how they're not just content creators for themselves, they're sort of content creators for this ecosystem that requires more and more out of them. It's just capitalism again. It's just fucking
It's all capitalism. It's just, that's the title of the episode. It's just capitalism.
Folks at home, the concept of the day, the concept of the week, this pod is material conditions.
Of every pod, actually.
If your material conditions haven't changed, what has really changed? Think about that the next time someone tells you that Joe Biden's the most progressive president they've ever elected.
Man still owes me $600.
I don't even have student loan debt anymore, and he owes me wiping that out.
I love that.
I've got the
you know, it's going to be
student
great. It's going to be great at midterms when we all stop and think like, wow, the Dems really like backed away from literally everything they promised.
Again.
Yeah, and now it's the most important election of the century because this time the Trumpers have spent the last 2 years consolidating their power base and intensifying their rhetoric and also passing voter suppression laws.
And also making sure that they've got keys in the right places. They've already got they got their few Supreme Court justices to the bench that are not going anywhere. They have
young ones. They
have all these key positions just locked up safely in a lot of ways that Democrats can no longer touch. And the Democrats are just like, well, they won fair and square. I guess we're just going to have to go with it. Even though they did nothing. Yeah, they did nothing to stop it. They're not passing anything to fight it. They're not doing shit. They're just like, well, we tried. We're sorry, guys. Please don't spank us hard.
It's going to rule when there will be a list of states where I can no longer safely use the bathroom. There already is, but it's going to get bigger, and that's going to be great. I'm going to love that when I think about my future and my future planning, I have to consider whether or not I can work or frequent a business that has to have a sign that says that I am allowed to shop there.
Yeah, that's the fucking craziest shit. I saw that in like Alabama, I think, where just like, warning, trans people shop here. And I'm like, okay, well, this is where we've come to. And it took, just some people asking some questions for the last 5-6 years over and over, pushing the Overton window. What's fucking Nick Fuentes, that piece of shit? Fuck that guy. But when he was tweeting at Michael Tracy being like, you're a big fucking dumb idiot. Thanks for pushing the Overton window to the right for us, but you're still like a stupid, spineless liberal. Just like, damn, he's speaking real facts. Like, thank you to the Substack crowd for being like, yes, I know they're so vulgar, but they do raise points about the trans and stroke their beards, and people give them $5 for some reason to read this bullshit because people want to read conservative opinions without feeling like they are conservative, so they don't want to see anything from One American News. They want to see something from like glenngreenwald.substack.com.
I have a spicy opinion here.
Oh.
They are conservatives. They're just reactionaries.
Yep. Yeah, they're just highbrow. They want to feel like
they're highbrow reactionaries.
It's like Atlantic readers. Like we
Fuck
need
them.
to read the opinion that says that, yes, it's very complicated, but Saddam Hussein definitely needs to get murked.
Or the Atlantic in that famous Jesse Single cover story about how your trans kid wants hormones and surgery. Reality check, dear listeners. No one is fucking giving surgery to people under 18.
Yeah,
or even giving hormone replacement to people under 18. And it's like they get blockers.
Mm-hmm.
Which prevent the onset of puberty, but no one is giving like estradiol to a 15-year-old.
Mm-hmm.
It's like without their parents' consent. It's really it's not real. They made up a guy. They made up a guy,
and then said that guy wants to play on your girl's soccer team and dominate on it.
It doesn't exist. It doesn't exist.
I gotta say, if you're on puberty blockers, you probably suck at sports. Like, I'm not gonna be like mean about it, but like, there's like some biological shit making it hard to like do the sport.
Jarv, you've known me for many years.
Yes.
You know what I used to look like.
Yes.
I cannot do that again. And it's not like a desire. I physically cannot because my body no longer produces testosterone. Like, I was fairly strong. You
were ripping shit off the floor.
I was ripping shit off the floor. I cannot do that again. And it's like, because I just am physically incapable of doing it. And what really sucks about particularly like trans athletes, especially youth trans athletes, is people get mad when they win. Like when they have like really good performances relative to other people, even if their averages are lower. So like it's the one time that runner will ever win a track event. People are up in arms. They ignore that like they haven't medaled in any other event. It's just the one time they had a good day and other people had bad days.
Yeah, but we can attribute those bad days and good days to a pervasive system of debauchery and degeneration of the
There's the word. There's the word. You said the word.
Sport of whatever the fuck you're playing. Yeah, I know. As soon as people say degenerate, I'm like, oh, okay.
I know what you're really... That's the dog whistle.
Yeah, it's the fucking loudest dog whistle that you can say sometimes. It's just like, okay, I bet you're really concerned about the fall of Western culture, too. Do you like Greco-Roman statues?
You really hate brutalism, don't you? You just really hate brutalism.
It's so ugly. It's well, guess what? Capitalism gave us the fucking shipping container apartment building. Is that not uglier? Where you can live in a fucking shipping container instead of like a cool looking shared courtyard, shared kitchen, fucking collective housing unit. Oh no, you can live in a fucking shipping container with your expensive ass furniture and your security deposit you're not going to get back.
There's a character, Disco Elysium, that lives in a shipping container.
Nice.
just yeah. And also, who else lives in shipping containers? The characters in Ready Player One.
Damn, they do. I don't know anything about that book or movie except for the thing you just said.
Not the funniest part about brutalism is how everyone keeps leaving out that they build like parks that surround every building for it.
Yeah.
So it's like you live in a bunch of these high rises and you're surrounded by like forests on every side. It's nuts. Like, I want forests on every side. Fuck. You kidding me?
Yeah. There's lots of like communal spaces and shit like that.
And then like as vines and stuff start growing on the buildings, they look awesome.
Looks fucking amazing. That is aesthetic as fuck.
We are a pro-brutalism podcast.
Come here for your spicy anti-capitalist takes, Marxist theory, and pro-brutalism. We're here every week.
We know what we're
Almost.
about.
All right. I feel like we could talk forever. I think we've done like a whole circuit of like content and content creation and capitalism. Now we've gone to brutalism. If we don't get onto a different topic, I'm going to start talking about kids at Pride, and that conversation never ends well.
No, it really doesn't. We're going to get some people in the emails.
Email at yase.world. Is it yase.world at Gmail?
Just yaseworld@gmail.com. No doubt.
Send us your complaints, and also pictures of cool brutalism.
Yeah, definitely do that. You actually have to complain. If you're going to complain about the show, also send cool brutalist architecture. Otherwise, we're not going to read it.
It's true. It's like a Trojan horse, but it's like very blocky.
Yeah.
Made of concrete.
Oh man, I want to go in there. It could be very cool.
There's no capitalism in here. I think so. Before we sat down and recorded, actually, we didn't even do a conventional check-in at all. We just kind of like went off.
We said we started with
feelings.
Fuck capitalism, and we just ran with it.
It's pretty easy to go there.
Yeah. We've been there for like 40 minutes now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I do like a good episode that just kind of like comes out with a thought and then just keeps on rolling with it.
Should we keep going with it?
If you want to. Otherwise, I was going to talk about fucking Street Fighter 5.
I was just going to talk about how much I love and hate Dragon's Dogma.
I was going to talk about camping.
Camping do be cool.
Camping is great. It's wonderful. I've got the bug real bad.
Yeah. You've been buying a bunch of shit for it?
I have a cart full of stuff, and I guess the other bug for me right now, because my life is anime, is I've been watching Yuryu Camp, where one of the characters' whole shtick is that she has a Vespa and goes solo camping. Mm-hmm. And so now I've been on a kick of, if and when I have a garage, I think I'm either going to buy a scooter or I'm going to buy a motorcycle.
Nice.
Yeah. Like, I'm really committed to that right now. Like, I want to be able to... I live in a good area of the country for it. The thought of being able to, like, take my camping stuff, pack the bike, and then, like, go off to a campsite somewhere and just, like, solo camp or camp with, like, or meet people there or something. Just, it sounds like healing for the soul.
Plus, I think motorbike lesbian is like a new tech tree to unlock.
It is. Like, we've actually, my partner and I talked about this, where it's like Pokemon, and there's stages you go to, and it starts off with commuter bike. That's like the starter form. Then you upgrade to Vespa, and then from there, some people can go into the motorcycle path.
Very nice. But only if you have the Harley Stone. I don't know.
Yeah, you have to get the Harley Stone. Then and only then can you truly ascend to the motorcycle lesbian.
Sometimes I wish I could go camping again. I was a Eagle Scout, so I was in the Boy Scout program for a long time. And sorry, Dad, but let me go on record by saying fuck the Boy Scouts of America. Bad hierarchy. A lot of boys were abused in there, and no one really gave a shit. Nobody really did anything about it. So fuck them. Just like fuck every other hierarchy that protects its abusers. Fucking bullshit. I had to get that off my chest. Every time we talk about camping, I think about that, and it gets me a little heated.
That's very
like, if
fair.
I don't have solidarity with those boys who were abused, then who am I really having solidarity with in that hierarchy? The fucking abusers? The people that support and cover up for those abusers? Nah, folks, it ain't gonna happen. You can camp without the Boy Scouts. You can camp and learn. Go online and Google Boy Scout merit badge handbooks and just do the shit. Just do the shit. You don't have to. You can even buy the badge if you want, but that's going to give them money, so don't do that. But just like, you can do the shit. You can learn all these things on your own. Go to YouTube. Be a YouTube scout. I'm a YouTube scout anytime something fucking breaks in my house, and I gotta learn what to do.
Just go read a book.
Go read a book.
Book Scout.
Book Scout.
Reading is fun, and then you can take that book with you when you're camping to read about camping while you're camping.
Now that's good.
I've done that, yeah.
Camping with the book is very nice.
I mean, there's many ways that you can camp, so you have to read about the other ways that you're currently not camping while you're camping.
Yeah, sometimes you
keep
can
up with the camping meta.
Yeah, you sometimes you buy the op at round start, and that's another way you can camp.
Oh god, everyone's playing Valorant now, not CS:GO.
Oh, imagine playing Riot games.
Can't be me.
It cannot be me. I will not play a Riot game. Even that fucking fighting game.
Project
I might check it out. Whatever.
We're gonna go back into anti-capitalism here because that ties right back into it, like back into the theory of consumer media, consumer product, and then like the hierarchy up top that is constantly producing shit that needs to be bought that has no actual value.
Yeah. What is the use value of a fucking Teemo skin?
Nothing, and it costs like $20.
But what if it makes me smile?
Google a picture of it.
Okay, okay, wise guy. Let me tell you about how much money I've spent on gacha games. It's actually not that much, I swear. I swear to God, it's not that much.
Someone can tell me, all right, man, go fucking Google a picture of this Arknights unit, and I'll be like, no, I want the actual unit. I want to do the skills. So I get it.
I want to push the button.
I want to push the button.
That does tie right back into like DLC practices, especially. I mean, the most heinous one I can think of off the top of my head is Grand Blue Versus, because
yikes, that game.
The
game's never on sale.
Cheaper.
Never on sale. The DLC is never on sale, and it's like now I have a PC that can play it in like decent quality, and right now, like it's been $60 since I got this PC like over a month ago. And
do you $100 want to play that game?
Do I want to pay like $150 more? Like, because now you have to get 2 season passes.
Oh
if you
shit,
want.
You're right.
So it's
you're
like,
right. It is.
It's an atrocious sum of money. It's like 120. Like seriously, it's about $120 total because 60 for the base game, and then you have to pay taxes in the state of Maryland on Steam sales.
Yeah, so you're
yeah.
It's not worth.
And it's like on top of that, then you get shit netcode on, and it's like no, I'm not paying $120 for the privilege of giving Cygames even more wealth. No thanks.
Yeah, it's not a great deal. But if you want to be really cool, you could just buy the base game because there's no need to buy the rest of the characters because Charlotta is all you need. I love Charlotta. I really liked that game, and I really liked Charlotta, but I don't know, just it came out at the wrong time. I know we've talked about this before, but just like, whoop, COVID, And I have some friends who still play online, and they're like, no, it actually isn't dead. There's literally dozens of us. We do like online events, and I'm like, yeah, I'm really happy for you and your online events. All fighting games in this limbo state have had to go to online, so it's a lot easier to get into the games that had like decent online instead of the trash online.
Also, as someone who kind of came to that point, like this is maybe my point, like where there's dozens of us and we have online events. There is a great convenience with games like, even now Street Fighter V, where I can just like log on whatever and press quick match. And I cannot do that in Granblue. I don't want to have to schedule my nights around being able to play with people in the small circle of people that are still playing that I can get good connections with. And if you want to do that, good for you. Awesome. Build your community. Do all that. But I was looking at that like, we got boat night on Wednesday. And I was like, I usually go see my girlfriend on Wednesday nights. Like, we have like a standing dinner date. Do I want to move my standing dinner date with my partner to go play on the boat? I'm not about that boat party.
No, not a boat party for me.
It's a bummer. But yeah,
it is a bummer.
It's one of the reasons that I hope Strive is good, but I think that I've been spoiled by quick match playing Street Fighter V. I can just like put it on auto match and just like have it on one monitor. I'm doing stuff on the other, and it's like another fight is coming your way, and all of a sudden I can just play the game. Just being able to play the game is this incredible luxury that I never considered I could ever have.
Yeah, I do the training mode, fight requests. It actually has a pretty decent training mode for like, let me try to like practice this frame trap. Let me try to see if, a character does stand jab against me, what things will trap this character. Oh, I got a match. I get to play against fucking Ken going bananas on my ass. And then I get to come back and be like, okay, let me practice doing more anti-airs. I mean, it's like a nice loop, which obviously we've all known about the gameplay loop of, practice, watch yourself, play more, figure out what you're not doing great with, do it over and over again. But when you can actually like incorporate it into your session of play, I only have an hour to play. If I can get 5 matches and also do training mode in between, that's great. If I only have an hour to play, let me go use the like @GrandBlue tag in this Discord and wait 15 minutes for someone to be like, yeah, I'll play. And then you wait another 15 minutes. You're like, oh, sorry, I got caught up with something. And let me get... No, I just want to play the fucking video game.
And this is still why like people will play Tekken 7 too, despite its awful netcode, is because it's still fairly easy to like you go into a training mode where you can do the the punishment practice and everything. You can look at what just happened to you and practice punishing it while you're waiting for another match. That's invaluable. It helps you like really learn a very, very complex game. And there's a shit ton of people who are always playing it like all the time. So even if it takes a little while, you can just spend a little bit of extra time practicing, and you'll only be able to play like 3 matches if you've got an hour, because it takes forever to load a single match. But
damn,
you also get the benefit of infinite rematches too. So if you find a good person that you want to keep playing against, just keep sending revenge matches, and that's it. You can keep going forever.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I've been playing a lot of Street Fighter V lately. I don't know what it is about the game, but like something about it just feels good right now. A little bit more methodical, a little bit slower paced, having to like focus on getting confirms, and I just kind of like the game flow. And I've been playing a lot with a friend of the pod in the Yace Discord, Declamax, and or DE climax. I don't actually know how to say it. But they gave me some like really valuable insight into the game because I've been playing with them and getting mopped up. They're a really fucking solid player. But it's not enough to just like practice confirms or understanding like the game flow, but you kind of have to have both, because in order to have, you got to have the conceptual game, make your footsie buttons like a little bit better and actually a little more insight into why you're hitting the button instead of just like, oh, I see Akuma do, crouch medium punch a lot, so I'm going to do it. But now I'm going to hit the button in times where I think it's going to hit. And now I have the optimization and ground that out to have the combos, so that way when it hits, I can actually do the combo. And I'm not just like, I'm throwing out a button to guess, oh, I have to realize that it hit. Now I have to remember to do the combo. What is the combo again? Oh, shit, I fucked it up. And now I'm doing like Tatsu on block, and I'm getting fucked up for it. Mm. Whereas trying to understand why I'm doing the buttons in what part of the game that is being played right now, what part of the match, and actually confirming what is being done because I think it's going to hit. Like doing something with a plan and then seeing the plan be confirmed. Like just the understanding of that a confirm is like not just me throwing out a button and hoping that it hits, and then when it does, I do the combo, but like I'm doing this in a situation because I think it's the strongest option I have, and I'm expecting it to hit, but if it doesn't, I'm not going to, shit confirm.
Have you ever heard the phrase with punish versus the wish punish?
I have heard about a wish punish where you're just like, I really wanted this to work. I'm just going to do whatever makes me feel good.
Yeah,
but it's not winning.
It's kind of what you're describing. Or it's not even so much like what makes me feel good. There's the I expect this to hit versus I really hope this hits. And there's a big difference there. And I think it took me a long time to really grasp in fighting games of like, why am I pressing that special? Why am I doing this? What is this like building in a game plan? Okay, I went for a throw this time. It's one thing to be like, I did throw because I'm just like picking options out of a hat versus like, I'm doing throw because I want my opponent to mash. And then the next time I make them block a jab, I'm not going to tick throw them. I'm going to take a step back and do a crush counter. And they're going to die for it.
Well, my brain's expanding a little bit because I've definitely been doing some tick throws because I like tick throws. But it's not just about doing the option to get the option. Sometimes it's about doing the option to condition an opponent. So that way your next option has more of a plan, foresight, knowledge behind it.
Mm-hmm.
Damn.
Like, I think Street Fighter V and playing Ryu got me to really go back to that kind of thought of, all right, so I got like my level 0. My level 0 is I'm expecting my opponent to just block. I'm going to walk up and throw them. Once they start doing stuff to avoid being thrown, now I'm going to frame trap them. It's like now they're not pressing buttons again. Now I'm going to start throwing them again. And it's kind of the building layers of I'm trying to get my opponent to respond and finding a pattern that like makes them uncomfortable and building up to progressively higher rewards. Mm-hmm. It's I love fighting games. I think that like understanding that kind of stuff, like that's where like a lot of the fun of the game is. And I think there's maybe in like especially the COVID media sphere around fighting games, a lot of like, look how hard combo trials are. Look at it's a good soy face. Dear listeners, Jarv made the perfect soy face.
Definitely average fanning right now.
I feel like that misses the point of like what makes the genre really good. It's like, cool, the combo is a one-player experience. It's your opponent is a puzzle. You're trying to solve a puzzle while that puzzle is trying to solve you. And that's a really fun thing about the genre that I think it gets lost in the sea of, look how hard KOF 13 trials are.
Yeah, don't show me how hard the trials are. Show me what is hard about opening up a character, or what things that you need to throw out there at what times that may be hard to react to, or maybe a little more risky than other characters have. And how do those characters capitalize on it? How do those characters force situations in which those are the scariest answers? That is cool. Don't fucking just be like, wow, 4-6 in uni trials. Wow, this one's fucking crazy. I don't know how to do this shit. My finger's falling off. I don't give a shit about that.
Yeah.
You know, the game does the combos for you if you press the fucking demonstration button. So I can watch anyone do the goddamn combo.
You can watch the movie.
I think good combo trials are somewhat necessary for like newer players, and also if you just want to have like some kind of muscle memory, like if you haven't played in a little while, you can just run through a combo trial. Like I think Exard's combo trials, at least for biking, just kind of helped me get warmed up, because there's obviously better ways to do basically every single one of those combos, but just to like get the basics back into it so I get the rhythm down again.
Yeah,
that's a good combo trial. It's like, this is what you can do, it's not what you should do. Just keep in mind that you can do much better than this, but this is going to put it back in your brain space to help you go down that same kind of path. That's a good combo trial. Just making it fucking hard is not a good combo trial.
No. And Exard, I feel like, does do some good, like, before the trial actually starts, it might be like, hey, so this is why you do this thing. Like, hey, this is Faust's, like, FTC drill cancel. It's going to give you, like, a pretty low overhead, and you can convert into it. And then Soul is sitting there crouch blocking, and he won't do anything besides get hit by this fucking FTC cancel jump K. And that is, like, probably what... I wish there were more combo trials that were like, here's the combo. You can do it. That's fine. Here's the combo in like context of the game. Here is Ken whiffing a Shoryuken, and now you need to do your biggest crush counter possible. Here is Rose wanting to constantly hit, crush medium punch, and here is your whiff button that is like your whiff punish button that gives you the most amount of corner carry. Here is someone mashing jab, and here is like a little frame trap that you can do, and then the combo that you do after it. And also, fucking fighting games should teach you how to do frame kills. Be like, you get the knockdown, and it makes it really easy when somebody delay techs if you hit these two buttons in a sequence, and then you hit this next button, and it's a fucking meaty. Maybe also teach people what meaties are.
There's that's the one bit that I think I really hope really catches on more, of being able to articulate those parts of fighting games. And I feel like progress has been made. I mean, I've talked before on the pod about the Street Fighter 4 trials, where it just gives you like back forward, but doesn't tell you about having to hold back to do charge moves.
When it just says crouch jab, cannon spike, or whatever, and you're like, or like, like crouch jab, crouch short, crouch jab, spiral arrow, and you're like, I'm doing the buttons, and it's not coming out. Oh, we didn't tell you that you have to link cancel everything. Fuck those trials. I don't know. I've seen like multiple people I try to introduce Street Fighter 4 to back in the day when I was like, well, doing the combo trials are the way you learn how to play fighting games. And I'd set them up with those, and they'd be like, first of all, I can't do a DP. Second of all, I'm doing the things that it says. It says mash down and square, and then do quarter circle back and X. And it's not happening, so I'm done.
Yeah. Well, should we maybe call it there? It's been about an hour.
Yeah, I think we can wrap it up there. We've had a lot of thoughts.
Had a lot of fuck capitalism thoughts, fuck bad combo trials thoughts.
I like how there was a continuous line that you can follow through this whole podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah, like there was like a natural transition from every topic to every topic.
Yeah, you know what, listeners? Sometimes we do pretty good. Actually, I think we do good all the time. But when we can do this, where we're just kind of like, we don't have any like major pre-planned topics, and we're just like, vibing, and just like, chopping it up, especially when we're chopping it up about capitalism. I think that's pretty cool. I hope y'all enjoy this. Well, thanks, gang, for sticking around and doing a fun podcast with me. Thanks to all the listeners for listening. If you've made it this far, we appreciate you. Let's go around the horn. Velius, where can people find you on the internet?
Find me on Twitter @_Velius, and blogging about movies and fighting games at realbattleonfilm.wordpress.com.
Very nice. Morgan, where can people find you?
You can find me on Twitter @Morganization13.
Any cool people you are not related to that you might want to plug to?
Maybe not anymore. I don't know where I'm knowing about.
Okay. Well, y'all can find me over at Jarvdog, DAWG, and on Twitter. And you can also find the whole team over at YASEworld, Yase.world. Join the Discord. We play in video games. We got a couple ping rolls if you want to spend your Wednesdays on the boat. Just kidding. I don't think anyone is really playing Grand Blue in the server anymore. We're just playing Street Fighter V and a couple other things. So come on through. Come play some games. Thanks again, once again, y'all, for joining us. Peace out. Free to be nice. Read Marx.